The following podcast is a B&E Network exclusive. Welcome to B Movies and Ebooks. I'm Craig Wade.
And I'm Brian Allen Delaney.
And today we are going to be talking about a movie and a book, just like every week.
Wow, that's kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah, we could actually just use this intro for the beginning of all of it, like every episode. But no, we're going to be talking about A Monstrous Place by Matthew Stott. Yeah, man.
It's live.
Yeah, as soon as we go live, I start just tripping up left and right.
Oh, yes. As soon as we go live.
Well, I could edit it out, even though I never really did. But whatever. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that and the new film from the Asylum, Dead 7. So before we get into any of that,
this is going to be a fun episode.
Is it? Before we get into that, what's new with you, dude?
Not much. I guess, well, I mean, if anybody cares, I guess by the time that this actually airs on like the stream and stuff, it'll be my birthday.
Dude, it'll be past your birthday.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, you're 33 years young.
Thanks.
You don't like me giving the actual age?
No, you got to keep like a little bit of mystique.
That's what we're keeping, mystique.
Yeah.
I did one of those like things that it approximates your age based on a picture.
Oh God, were you like way older?
No, but I was surprised because I always get carded for beer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been within 3 years that I got carded for a rated R movie.
Nice.
So, but no, it made it like it guessed 1 year younger than I am.
Oh,
so guessing like 31.
I did one recently and it gave me like something in the 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that baby face.
Yeah. These pudgy cheeks.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, this week I finally watched The Force Awakens.
Yeah, yeah. How'd you like it?
I really liked it, actually. I was surprised at how much I liked it because I'm pretty ambivalent. Not really about Star Wars. Like, I like it.
Just everything in general.
Pretty much. No, like, I mean, Star Wars is fun, but it's not something that I've ever obsessed over. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I was fine with catching it on video.
Yeah.
On DVD. But yeah, it's
you bought a VHS tape of it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was one of the best red boxes I've had in a while. The only thing, like, it basically was episode 4. Like, and it kind of bothers me. I know it shouldn't, because like if it was a soft reboot of the series, which in essence it kind of is, these are just like the Disney years, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's because it's episode 7, that kind of bothers me that it is a soft reboot. But that's just me. I'm probably nowhere near as annoyed as all the people that have invested all their time into reading the canon, and then now it's all out the window.
Oh, yeah. That would piss me off. No, okay. So here's what I think about it. I think it's all a red herring.
What do you mean?
I think that they're setting it up and you're like, oh man, this is exactly like episode 4, but he's going to go somewhere completely off the rails for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. Just because, like, you know, I don't know, it would be boring not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's got to be some change in the formula.
Yeah. Well, what actually kind of bothered me is when they went to the place that was pretty much the cantina.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me? They're even doing
no, dude, it was a cantina, but it was in the forest.
I forgot that part.
Completely different.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the characters, like Ray was awesome.
Yeah.
And Finn was good. Like I really liked the new characters. That was one of the things that I was kind of iffy about.
Yeah.
That they were going to just like go off the rails with unlikable characters. But no, I mean, I really liked it.
Well, C-3PO was still there.
Yeah. And R2D2 was, heartbroken.
Oh yeah, that was so sad.
Yeah. And before I actually watched it, like I was like, this BB-8 thing, like I hate him. Right? Because if you watch it out of context, I was just judging by the character design. I was like, he kind of just looks like a futuristic version of R2D2. And no, I loved him. I thought he was great. like I was like getting sad at all the right places. Like, oh no. Yeah. And I forget Oscar Isaac's character's name, the guy that flies.
Dameron?
Yeah. He was awesome too. And
yeah.
Like, I mean, but it is odd how much they pretty much seem to have modeled him exactly after Han Solo.
Well, spoiler alert. I don't know if you were paying attention, but Han Solo died.
Huh. No, I know.
So they need a new one. But
yeah,
I know what
I guess.
What I like though is like they weren't exactly the same characters. Like Poe was sort of a mix between Luke and Han. Whereas like Rey had some Luke in her, but also I don't know, some other people.
Yeah.
Like she was in sort of like her mannerisms and stuff, almost like Obi-Wan at times, right? And everything. Like, so they were kind of just mixing and matching people, which I think worked better than just having just straight, here's the same character again.
Yeah, no, I could see that. No, but long story short, for someone that, I honestly, this may be kind of an odd thing. I wouldn't even give all the Star Wars movies 5s or anything like that. I think I would kind of have to give it higher than I felt because given the fact that they became so legendary. But
I think you just need to rate them all 2s.
No. But I mean, I would give them all 4s. Like, I mean, the first 3. Well, I don't know. Part 5 probably would get a 4.5 or 5.
Yeah.
But
Empire would get
huh?
Empire would get higher.
Yeah, and then Jedi would probably get a 3. So anyway, I'm just not an Ewok fan. But no, I mean, long story short, I liked it. I didn't want to be swept up in all the, like all the hubbub. God. I didn't want to get swept up in like the public stuff. And also, yeah, I just didn't have time to watch it in theaters. Plus, it only ran for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, so like I liked it. But that's taken up a lot of our time. So what's up with you?
Well, I've got like I guess a couple of trailers I kind of want to talk about.
Okay, cool. I do too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of like one real trailer, one kind of movie announcement, and then something that I'm excited that came out by Scream Factory.
Awesome. Okay, go.
Okay. So one of them is just I can never pronounce this guy's name. The guy who did like Drive and stuff. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Refn or whatever.
Yeah. Is it Jonathan Winding Refn or what?
Nicholas. Yeah. Okay.
It's weird that I forgot the normal name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you replaced it with an equally normal name.
Yeah, okay. Good
so
call.
It's okay. But like there was like a poster released for his new movie.
Uh-huh.
That I don't know what it's about or anything, but I'm probably going to watch it because I really liked Drive and the other stuff I've seen by him. It's called The Neon Demon. Have you heard about that?
No.
It looks like it kind of looks like 80s throwback, sort of like the posters to Drive did, with the except for it doesn't have the neon writing and stuff, but it looks like an old VHS cover of just a girl with a slit throat.
Really?
That's the whole poster.
Huh. But there's not like a trailer for it yet, huh?
Nope, not yet.
Huh. Well, I mean, I love Drive. Drive was awesome.
Yeah.
I hated Only God Forgives.
I never saw that one.
So, well, I don't really know what else has he done.
I don't think he's done anything else. So I really liked Drive, though.
No, like, dude, Only God Forgives was so bad. I don't know. Why? Because there was no talking, period, which can work. Only it didn't work in this film. Trust me. The violence was extreme, but it didn't pull it off. Mm-hmm. Like, it's as if like a much lesser director tried to do a Tarantino movie with no dialogue. So that's kind of the problem with it, Yeah. But anyway, either way, I'll watch it, because the thing is, I know he did a film before that, and I think that it was better, like it was a good movie, but the expectation for his follow-up to Drive was so high that I'm not sure that he could have beat it. So he probably just tried to do something totally different.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where the problem lied. But yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool. Kind of odd of a poster choice, though.
Shut up.
Shut up.
He also directed Bronson.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Bronson's a classic. I actually like that even more than Drive.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a quick trailer. It's like a low budget movie, but I think it was kind of neat. It's called The Shallows.
Yeah.
You hear about that?
No.
It's basically, it looks like to be a combination of Jaws and Tremors.
Jaws, right? And Tremors?
Yeah, in a way, because it's like there's not much in the trailer except for basically some action shots or whatever, but person swimming in the ocean, and then there's sharks, and then like low tide comes in and they get kind of stuck on this like reef, right? And so there's this enormous shark just kind of circling, waiting for tide to come up, so it can get to them.
And it's called The Shallows?
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like a mixture of that with that segment in Creepshow 2 with the raft.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's a cool premise.
Yeah.
Like a really cool premise for a film. Plus, I don't know about you, but I love shark movies.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. Like, I even started watching the other day Avalanche Sharks.
Oh, how is that?
I had to turn it off only because we had small kids over. I was watching it at my parents' house at Easter, I think. And so there were small kids over, and like the language was pretty dirty pretty quick. And so I was like, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, because I don't want to be the asshole that's like making, people watch that shouldn't be. So
yeah.
Anyway, but either way, I mean, that's right up my alley. Like,
oh no, it looks good.
Like, so. I'm a huge fan of ice spiders. And so
I think this is going to take itself a little bit more seriously.
Avalanche Sharks?
Oh no, I was still talking about The Shallows.
Oh no, yeah, no, I was just comparing ice spider to Avalanche Sharks. No, yeah. But yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool. I saw a trailer over the weekend for the Bye Bye Man. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
I hadn't either. It looked really cool, but even though that's a terrible name, right? The Bye Bye Man.
That's terrible. It's like what a little kid would call an assassin.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. And he was supposed to be like basically just kind of. It's pretty much the boogeyman. But what is kind of cool is it's by the people that produced Oculus and something else, The Strangers.
The WWE films.
No, I think that it's maybe another producer. So I don't know. But it looked really cool. It kind of looks trippy like Oculus. in the sense that these people, like, he can make you see stuff as well. So, like, the end of the trailer is this woman that's like running after this family stuck on train tracks, and the guy's like, "No, it's a trap!" And she gets there and she looks, and the family's gone. And then the train, like, it implies that it hits her.
Yeah.
So anyway, but no, I mean, like, it looks really, really, really cool. So that would be my pick of the weekend. I love throwing up segments that don't exist.
Yeah. No. Uh-oh.
What? Uh-oh, Brian left. Oh, no. Rodney, in chat, you want to host this show? All right, what's going on here? But yeah, anyone that's listening, check out the trailer to The Bye Bye Man. Like, look pretty cool to me. Well, Brian's still signed in. Let me see what's going on with him real quick. Okay. Looks like he's coming back. Nice. What's up, dude? Brian? Hello? Hey, what's up, XTM? Welcome to the chat. We're talking B-movies and ebooks like we do every week. You kind of jumped in the chat at an odd time. We kind of do just more of a this is like a podcast, and you jumped in right during a technical difficulty. Oh, dude, I don't know if I can help you, XM or XTM Tech. I have one of those voices that will lull you to sleep.
Okay, I'm back.
Well, that's
I'm back.
Hey, okay, good to see you.
So, no, what happened was apparently I put my phone on the part of my computer that like senses when the lid is closed, and it put it to sleep.
Oh, really? Yeah. All we saw was
do that anymore.
Oh, you just drop
nice.
The chat.
So, yeah.
So,
okay. I had two other quick things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, Blu-ray release of The Return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Yeah, Scream Factory with like a new transfer and original audio and all kinds of other stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that they redid the cover. The Scream Factory cover looks awesome on it.
Yeah. I kind of miss the old one with the zombie with the mohawk coming out of the grave.
Yeah.
But
but
I have no, I can't do anything about it.
Well, obviously. And even if you could, would you want to invest the time?
No.
But I thought it was really cool. Sometimes those Scream Factory releases, like the artwork on them really sucks.
Yeah. They'll do like a screen cap.
I don't know that they do go that lazy. Like they're like, nah, we invest all the time and money on our transfers and extra, but here's a lazy ass screen cap.
Yeah. Here's some stick figure drawings. But I one other little quick thing to do, just because I think it's funny, and also I'm logged into it as B-Movie Bot.
Yeah. Why are you logged into that?
Because it was the only other one I had the password to right after, and also you kicked me out of the other one.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Apparently, that happened
from B-movies and ebooks. I'm so sorry.
So, basically, it's just a Twitter bot that pieces together old horror movie plots and sci-fi movie plots and tries to make new ones.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny.
Sometimes it's very hit or miss.
And that was this week we start, or Yeah, this week that it started, right? Yeah, so follow at B_moviebot. If you follow, I think there's another one, so make sure that you follow.
Well, no, I had to do underscore because you can't do hyphen.
Oh, really? Okay, so there's not a B_moviebot?
I mean, you can do B-moviebot and it'll come up.
But, okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
But some of them are pretty great.
Yeah.
Some of them don't make any sense.
Yeah. But the ones that don't make sense are my favorites.
My favorite one from yesterday was War and a Monkey. What kind of movie would that be?
It's one that piqued my interest. But yeah. Okay. Well, do you want to go ahead and jump into reviews?
Yeah.
All right.
Which one do you want to do first?
I don't know. Let's jump into Matt Stott's book.
Okay.
So we'll be back with our review for A Monstrous Place.
Okay, and we're back with our review of A Monstrous Place by Matthew Stott. Okay, so here's the synopsis, or part of the synopsis. Things lie between awake and asleep. In the moment after your eyes grow too heavy to stay open, but before the dreams take you. And then I guess I should keep going because that doesn't really tell you anything. It says Molly lives with her mother in a large creaking house that she wishes were haunted. There may be no ghosts, but what about monsters? Monsters with an unending appetite that like to steal people away in the black of night. That's better.
Yeah. Okay, and I think that we should go ahead and mention the fact that this is supposedly a children's book.
This is a children's book. But if anybody's ever listened to us before, they know that we read children's books from time to time.
Yeah. So it's like a teeter-totter between extreme horror and then like creepy kids books, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, mainly in October when we do #Spooky Month.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think children's I don't know if this is like a children's book or like a young adult book.
I think it's tween.
So like,
I mean, like, I think if you're 8 or 9, you're probably not going to read it. If you're older, you could read it and still enjoy it. But I think it's probably marketed at like 12, 13.
Yeah, and this wasn't like as graphic as The Merciless or anything like that. I would think that that's probably a 15.
Yeah,
like
15, 16.
Major. But and the fact that the main character was real young. I don't even remember how old Molly was.
I don't think it actually said.
I took it that she was like 8 to 10.
No. Yeah, because it mentioned the boy who goes missing in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Says he was like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
and then it said she was a year older or a grade older.
Yeah,
so she's probably like 9.
Yeah. So, so basically, she goes into this dream world, right? And then crazy stuff happens. I will say that I was surprised, very, very surprised. This is the second book that we've reviewed by Matthew Stott. The first one being 66, and that was an adult book. But I remember at the time, we both loved it. But me being like, I think that kids could read this. Remember? And you're like, no, no, it's definitely not. But yeah, there was something about it that seemed like it kind of was geared toward the younger reader.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about at 66?
Yeah. And I think mainly what it was the urban legend aspect of it, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
Whereas like extreme horror and stuff like that is generally based less in the supernatural, more in the real world, and it is a much more adult audience, you know? But yeah. Okay, I gotta say, just first off, my expectations were very high because of 66.
66 was great.
Like, I think 66 probably was my favorite book that we read last year.
Yeah.
And
I was agreeing that it was probably your favorite book.
Yeah. But, and I believe we both gave it 4.5s, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But I really, really wanted to like this book. And
did
I did. I loved it.
Oh man, you kept me in suspense.
Gotcha. Got him. No, I actually really, really love this book. The one thing that I will say is it a kid's book?
Well, okay, it really starts off like I thought about this book, like it gave me sort of a Goosebumps vibe, but if Goosebumps toned up the horror and violence a bit.
Yeah,
maybe not violence.
Yes.
I don't want to say violence because that implies like that there's some like there is a couple of little violent parts, but there's like a layer of like grotesqueness about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get super spoilery with it because I tend not to spoil things I like. But speaking of which, we're going to be talking a lot about Dead 7 later.
Yeah, spoilers away.
But there's some parts in it that I think, and maybe I'm wrong, that the average like little kid would probably get grossed out or freaked out by.
Grossed out?
Like the basement?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I can see that. It doesn't really go over the edge into like blood and guts, although it is straight up like where R.L. Stine didn't really kill people in Goosebumps books. Even whenever you'd think people were dead at the end, generally they come back. Am I right?
Yeah. Or it would be like a chapter break.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, and the axe came down. And then the next chapter would be like, but it missed him, so he was okay.
Yeah. This one straight up was just like, no. This little girl is going to see some screwed up stuff,
Yeah. And Molly comes away from this having seen some shit.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, it gets dark quick. The first third of this book, especially, I was just like, my gosh,
Okay. The first chapter of this book, like it had me because like, it does the normal horror movie trope thing. I mean, Scream did it and everything, right? Where it introduces a character just to kill them.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert for that very first chapter. But I mean,
that kid straight up dies.
And it was creepy as hell too, the way it happened.
Exactly.
And it's like I think what this had and what 66 had is like Stott seems to have this way of kind of painting a really creepy atmosphere over everything, because it's the same way with 66 was like that too, where it's like not necessarily like things that are scary happening, but you're like you don't know where the story is going to go and you're creeped out about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it starts out just to kind of since we already kind of spoiled the chapter.
Oh yeah, we spoiled it.
It starts off with a kid in bed that keeps hearing a voice that's basically just beckoning him to come outside.
Like a disembodied voice.
And he goes outside and he sees his dead brother.
Yeah.
And the brother's like, come on, come closer. And from there, it gets worse. So anyway, I will say that it legitimately, like, it's not that this really scared me or anything, but it was effective horror. I'll put it that way.
It was very effective.
Very effective.
And I think if our ages were still in the single digits, we would have been really scared. Or not really scared.
Like, well, I mean, much more than like a Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think like if Goosebumps is little kid horror, right? This is the next step.
Yeah. One thing that I love about young adult versus just regular horror.
Adult.
Huh?
Old adult.
Yeah, I guess just versus adult horror. But one thing that I do love about young adult horror is it just seems to, like, the pacing is amped up big time. It's like there's not really years pass and stuff like that in most young adult that I've read. I could be wrong because I haven't read just a whole ton. But well, no, I haven't read a ton of young adult stuff. But what I've read, it just seems to be like this is the story, and it happens and it happens and it happens all the way to the end. It's not like it takes a break and it's like, and they always remembered that summer. Looking back,
Well, I think it's because of the target audience.
Yeah, it keeps the attention span.
Yeah, and you start doing all kinds of flashbacks and junk like that. It's little kids are going to get lost.
Yeah. So anyway, like I don't know, I really appreciate the amped up pacing, and this book was really no exception to what I've experienced. Yeah, and to the pacing issues on the other stuff. But I don't know. I really, really, really like this book. And it's the first book in a series of, what is it called? Tales of In Between.
Is it the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I really want to see where he goes from here, but the fact that we kind of review stuff all the time really doesn't make for many books that we don't cover on here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's basically an anthology though, right?
Yeah. From what I understand. So like basically he's kind of set up this world of in between sleep and awake. It's just this creepy ass world. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the rest of them are going to be dealing with that. I mean,
well, I would think that it is because it's Tales of In Between.
Under the umbrella. Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know. Twilight Zone didn't always have like
a zone
stuff. There wasn't always zones.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Like, I hate to keep comparing this to R.L. Stine, but I really feel like this could be a new Goosebumps. Like
this Tales of In Between.
Yeah, depending on how quickly you could pump them out. Because I mean, not everybody pumps like a new one or new 2 or 3 books out a month, but I don't know. I think it's off to a really good start. And what I really like about the young adult stuff is like, sorry, I was laughing at Rodney. But what I really like about the young adult stuff is I like horror and I like graphic stuff, but I also like the fact that it doesn't have to rely on that. It's very much more about like the character study, right? And the things that they're facing. And then sometimes, like in situations like this, like just legitimately creepy things, as opposed to getting scared by just like violence. What I mean? If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, there would be a way to write this exact same story really jacked up, right?
Oh, you could put like horrible blood and gore into it.
Yeah. But it really doesn't take away anything not to have it.
Yeah.
And it has it in places. It's just he dials back, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like, I want to read everything this guy puts out. In fact, I hit him up on Twitter just telling him that we're covering this book this week, which always has to be an odd, random thing. That
especially when we do it like the day before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're covering your book tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. And especially like him, who I don't know that we've ever really talked before on Twitter. I think I've liked a few of his tweets. Maybe that's about it. And so, just kind of out of left field, like, hey, we're covering your book and it's a kid's book, And so anyway, but he told me that he is going to be putting out another, I think 66 was the only non-young adult thing that he's written at this point, but there's a new one coming out in June. So I want to possibly,
7.
Huh? Yeah. No, it's like a new adult horror book coming out in June. And so I really, really want to see what he's got in store for us, because at this point in my book, he's batting 1,000.
Yeah.
But even though I haven't read all of it, but he's batting 1,000 out of my samples. So anyway, so what would you actually give this?
I want to go 4.
I think it's a very, very solid 4. it's not as engaging as 66 was, but I think also a lot of that is that we're not the target audience.
Yeah.
But I think unlike Goosebumps, where you can go back and read it and appreciate it for what it was, you don't you don't really need the nostalgia for this, like, to enjoy it. It is a good story. Young adult or horror, it doesn't really matter. It's a good story. It reminded me a lot of The Thief of Always by Clive Barker.
Mm-hmm.
And not just thematically. And it was very well written. He's a really good author. So
and I think from like a kid's perspective, right? If you're a little kid into horror, right, then this would be amazing, because the main character in it is going to be very, very relatable.
mm-hmm.
Because it's like she's going around her old house like wishing it was haunted, and like there's a part where it says that she jumps into like dark rooms hoping to find ghouls, like, and catch them by surprise,
Mm-hmm.
and junk like that. And it's like, I know whenever I was a little kid, I was into, I guess I'm still am, but into horror movies and junk like that. And it's like, I think I would have found it very relatable, and I think that would have helped connect a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was really well done, really successful. If you've got kids that like horror, or if you like reading young adult books,
yeah, and
for some reason.
Well, I think that honestly, it's weird. Like, we grew up listening to punk rock, and like we both love horror, and so it's like punk rock and horror. And in both cultures, there's this chip on people's shoulder, like where people want to always be like, "Oh yeah, whatever, that's a PG-13," or like whatever, that band's weak, or what, And it's just like, dude, you're never really going to be able to live and experience a lot of things if you carry that chip on your shoulder, where you always have to have the most extreme movies or the most extreme music. Like, there's a time and place for a lot of things. And yeah, you don't have to like it all, but I guarantee you will like some of it,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no qualms in saying, and I never really did have qualms in saying, that Britney Spears' Toxic is an amazing song.
That's a good song.
And likewise, I mean, like, to say that, this, like, to totally disregard young adult horror is a really, really stupid move, because think of all the things that would fall into that category, like all the films that would fall into that category if films were categorized like that, like The Ring, Jaws,
Goonies.
Yeah, but I mean, like, The Ring would be a young adult horror film.
Well, I mean, it's basically PG-13 horror films.
Yeah.
Would be young adult.
Yeah. And so you're discounting, even though we gripe, I gripe, I don't know about you, I do gripe about PG-13 horror. It's the fact that for a long time, that was the only thing coming out, and they were watering things down just to make the money and then releasing better DVDs. So why didn't you just wait for DVD? Like an unrated cut. But I mean, either way, it's just like,
the way I see it, though, is like PG-13 horror is not necessary. It's, well, like we just said, it's young adult. It's to grab younger audiences, and then it's like, if you grab them, then they're going to be, horror fans for the rest of their life, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's, I don't want to say necessary, but I don't think it's a bad thing. And we've talked about this before on the show. Not every movie needs to be hard R.
What?
There's tons of movies that lend themselves to less gore or anything like that. Like we talked about ghost stories and stuff.
Honestly, ghost stories are very effective horror for me. Like, I get more creeped out reading ghost stories than about killers and stuff. My wife actually makes fun of me for it, because she's like, if we hear a noise in the night, she's like, yeah, you're like ghosts. And I'm like, there's a killer in the house. So anyway, but no, I mean, just like ghost stuff and paranormal stuff, it fascinates me, and it's scary, and it totally does not always, and most of the time shouldn't really call for a rated R.
No, I mean, no, I don't think it necessarily needs it. I mean, I think that, if the story, it stands enough on its own, then cool. If the story warrants being an R-rated, like needs to be an R-rated or worse, like, I don't know, House of a Thousand Corpses or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what it needs to do. I think context is the key.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So I don't know, if you're not into young adult horror, this is a good place to, like, this title is actually a really, really good one to check out just to see. And so,
yeah.
Anyway, with that, are you good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll be back with our review of Dead 7. All right, and we're back with our review of Dead 7. So basically, in a post-apocalyptic future where human teeth are treated as currency and zombies are named copperheads, a woman named Apocalypta seeks to rule the earth with her ever-increasing horde of copperhead slaves. There's only one hope for humanity: a shit ton of boy band members dressed up in cheap costumes. That was my own personal synopsis.
Did you put that on IMDb?
No, but I should.
I think you should.
It's pretty accurate. Why were they named copperheads again?
Okay, it didn't explain it until like an hour and 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. And by that time, I had already tuned the hell out.
At first, I was thinking it was probably just like, because this thing is a Western, sort of. Okay. Like I was thinking, it's just like copperhead snakes or something, and they're trying to make it all Westerny because it's talking about snakes. But no, apparently like the zombies originated from a copper mine. I don't even understand. They never really said anything. Okay. Where do we start with this movie? Can I say basically this movie had a lot of things that I wanted to love about it.
Me too.
It was all right. One of my favorite zombie type things, and it doesn't get explored very much, but is after the zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Like the zombie apocalypse already happened. People are back to like living a semi-normal life.
So right? Like Maggie.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, because I I want to see the rebuilding for some reason. I don't know. It interests me. Okay. So it was that. It was a Western. Okay. But Western zombie is intriguing to me. Okay. The Apocalypta chick, Deborah Wilson for some reason, but
who is that?
Mad TV.
That was who it was?
Yeah. She was like a voodoo priestess.
Yeah.
Right. And she was enslaving the zombies with voodoo magic, basically, which I'm totally down for that. Okay. Yeah. And it had a ton of boy band members. These are all things that I would love to see in a movie. Right. And it just, none of it worked.
No, it all fell apart.
None of it. And it was so disappointing. Like, I have no idea what this movie was even trying to be. Because there were parts that were trying to be comedy, right? I don't think I laughed at one of the actual jokes.
No, they threw a lot of things at the screen and none of it landed.
Yeah, it was like, whenever I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, it's like they had a whole bunch of plot points, right? Like, oh, I want this to happen and this to happen. And then they didn't write how you get from point A to point B.
Exactly. Yeah. It honestly, though, it kind of, conventionally speaking, this might be the best Asylum film. It doesn't look like shit.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks good. It seems to be competently shot. That's it. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that they blew their entire budget on boy band members.
Yeah,
right. Because there was no money for anything else.
Mm-mm.
Like, one part in particular, like whenever you see Apocalypta's army at the end, and they're like, "Oh, it's her army," and it's like behind this fence, and it's like literally like 7 people. I'm like, what's going on? But I don't know. There's so much about this movie that was bad.
Yeah, and like, let's not kid ourselves. Sharknado is a turd. Like, it's not a good movie.
Oh no,
but it's because it wasn't a good movie and so bad that it became something.
Yeah, and Sharknado knew what it was.
Yeah, and I felt like this was like, oh, we will do this straightforward at times movie with boy band members, and it's just going to go viral too. Like, it was a blatant attempt at going viral, you know. Exactly. And it just,
because you have this big wave of rehashing 90s nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had like, who was it? AJ McClain.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Fatone.
Is he the one that was the clown guy? AJ?
Yeah.
That was the worst character I've ever seen in my life.
Really? I didn't dislike him.
Well, the first third of the movie, whenever all he does is just laugh, it was so annoying.
Yeah.
Joey
Fatone, Nick Carter.
Yeah.
You have John Cicada for some reason. Like,
I don't remember.
He's just like a pop rock guy. Yeah, I looked it up because I was like, he can't be hurting for money. He was huge in the early 90s. Yeah, he sold 20 million albums, so I don't know why he was in this.
The dude from Everclear.
Yeah, Art from Everclear shows up for no reason.
Chris Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, and so out of all of these people, which the Everclear guy kind of has the look of an actor, and he was okay.
He was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just saying versus normal actors, he was okay. Like, he wasn't bad.
No,
in this movie, he was a damn
shining star.
Yeah, only to be outshone
by this movie. In this movie,
he was what?
The Charlton Heston of this movie.
Yeah. Well, I still think that Joey Fatone took it. He was really good. Now, his character kind of sucked. Like, I liked him until the end, when all of a sudden he just starts being like, hey, whatever, you know, like one line.
He didn't do anything.
No, but I liked his character. He was this guy that just stayed drunk throughout the entire thing, and he had this awesome plan where if he had this thing of like this little flask of whiskey, and then he also had a flask of blood, so that if he ever turned into a zombie, he'd pull the flask of blood, and it was rigged to the explosives that evidently he wears all the time.
Yeah.
And so if he turns, he wanted to go ahead and blow up.
Yeah.
I thought Joey Fatone, this is 2 movies now where I think that he's a good actor. I liked Joey Fatone as an actor. He's good.
He was definitely the best part of this movie.
Yeah. Now, this whole thing was like spearheaded by Nick Carter. I read a little bit about it.
Okay.
He had been wanting to he's been wanting to get into like acting and making films for a while. And apparently he'd been trying for years on this other one, and it all looked like it was going somewhere. And then the director died. And so this was what was made in light of that. So even though he didn't really get credited, the story is by him, but someone else wrote the script.
Okay, so he wrote the plot points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then no one else connected the dots.
But for someone that put so much work into it, he was probably the most forgettable character. Like, it seems like he had a lot in charge, and he just kind of hung out and wore a cowboy hat.
I'm trying to remember who he even was.
Remember they had that love triangle?
Yeah.
He was the guy, and then the cowboy guy.
And then and I like how they never explained like what it was, because they were like, we've got a past and stuff. And it's like, well, so do we. And then like later, like way later, it was like, come on, we got to get my brother. And it's like, wait a second. It never specifically said that, right?
Yeah. It is it's odd. This film is totally odd. But like, I felt like Nick Carter was okay, but totally forgettable, and that sucks to be like the guy putting all the work into being like all the work into the project and coming out with like the shittiest character. Because even like Chris Kirkpatrick couldn't act his way out of a paper bag, but his character was more memorable, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, I felt like the source material of this wasn't bad. This would have been a great comic book.
Yeah, like, I was thinking like it would have been a great comic book. But the thing is, though, when you have the lead guy in basically a cowboy hat with a revolver shooting zombies, it's going to be The Walking Dead. You know, people are going to make that like connection between the two.
So what? The Walking Dead gets to be the only thing with a cowboy? I mean, yeah, they can.
But I'm saying like the imagery behind it is very, very similar.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that would fall by the wayside after a while. I mean, I remember at first a lot of people were giving The Walking Dead shit about it having the same beginning as 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that with time, that stigma would fall.
It would pull out his own notch. I don't know. That's not even saying.
No, I was scanning my brain for it. Is that a thing?
It would make its own way, basically.
Yeah, it would walk that paper horse.
Yeah, exactly. You got what I'm
saying. But no, like, so I don't know, like, so it's not a good movie, right?
No, so much of it was bad. Like, there were so many action scenes where, especially with the Komodo character, whenever he's fighting with the swords and stuff, right? Where he would just stab at something off screen.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and then he would just pull it back and you wouldn't see any zombie die or anything like that. It was just, he was stabbing off panel and that was it. And you'd hear like a splorsh sound. Yeah. And that would be it. You know, so many of like the zombie kills and everything were just not shown at all.
Yeah.
You know, and that's whatever, you know, you can tell, I think they used all their special effects money on the last battle. Oh, yeah, that's where you actually see stuff. Now it's a lot of like the trademark Asylum CGI blood. But some of it was actually really good. Like they'd shoot a zombie and his like half of his head would blow off and stuff. Yeah. And it was not all bad.
Like I said, I feel like it was the most competently made Asylum entry I've ever seen. It's not my favorite, but it's just there was so much wrong with it, you know?
No, it had so much potential.
You know, I honestly am starting to think that the Asylum's like fundamentally against second takes. Like just whatever happens.
It would be funny if they're like still shooting on film. You know, and that's what it is. It's just films are super expensive.
I mean, that's why that's why Lloyd Kaufman's having to go to Kickstarter, because he's like, I have to shoot on film. And it would be like, there's no point. I don't know what he does, but his stuff always looks like it's on a camcorder. And he's like, I shot this one in 35.
Well, by film, he means DV tapes.
But, yeah. So the pacing in this thing, I don't know about you, but I wanted to fall asleep so bad watching this. Like this thing, the pacing was slow, and like I never honestly felt like anything was at stake here, because the characters, even though they were all so different and archetypes of like different tropes, basically, you know, the bad guy was basically or the clown one was like the Joker, you know, and you had a cowboy, you had a samurai, you had, you know,
like the cool jock guy was like the cowboy's brother.
Yeah. And so on one hand, like as different as they all were, like they were totally interchangeable. Like I was just like, oh, so that one died. Okay, I don't really care.
Yeah, the only ones that really had any personality were like Whiskey Joe and like the priestess chick.
Yeah.
That, you know, really, I don't know. Like now I forgot what I was gonna say about it. Oh yeah, like the pacing was all over the place, and there was like parts where I honestly had no clue what was actually happening. You know,
same
like,
here.
They go visit a whorehouse, like because they've split up, right? And They go visit a whorehouse, and then all of a sudden the whores like turn on them and start like attacking them for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, and then they mention like I think they might have mentioned a bounty, but who put the bounty on them?
I don't know.
I don't know. And it's like the whole reason they got together. Okay, because they capture the clown guy at the beginning, right? And he breaks out of jail, which I'm pretty sure that wall was made out of cardboard. But but they break out of jail, and but then the sheriff basically is like, let's round up a posse to go get the clown guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what the reasoning was for. Okay. They spend like 4 days in the movie getting people together before they leave.
Yeah.
Like,
which
seriously,
all of it could have been done with a montage, because they were still doing montage stuff to introduce the characters, a la Smoking Aces. Like, it was kind of like that. And
they each got their own like title card.
Yeah, they literally could have been like, let's get a posse together and just shown those scenes and then have them on their way. You know?
But I'm saying, like, they spend all that time in movie, right? Because it's like the guy escapes at night. They don't even start getting people together until the next day.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you wait? Like, I don't understand. None of this movie made sense.
No, it was bad. And that sucks, because it's something that I really like. When I heard about it, I was like, we have to watch this, you know? It's right up our alley. So, like, on one hand, it was really good to see, like, you know, that these people from the 90s are all still alive.
That Chris Patrick's not dead.
Yeah, but, like, on the other hand, like, am I sure that I really missed him in the first place? You know? Yeah. It's just like, okay, well, yeah, that guy existed. Like, the samurai guy, I vaguely remember him being in a boy band. I couldn't tell you what band.
I don't know. I really don't.
So, anyway, there wasn't even Oak Street. Dude. Yeah, Rodney commented in the chat, O Street. Yeah.
I don't know, man. And there was like just like grievous errors in logic. Like, too, like at the final battle, okay, you've got the samurai guy Komodo versus clown dude, right? And there's zombies attacking the clown guy, right? Oh, like just a whole swarm of them. But then they just kind of let him go so Komodo and him can have a duel for a second, right? And then later the zombies come back. It's just like, and I don't know. It's just, I can't even explain it.
Yeah, it's a bad film. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and rate this
5 out of 5.
It was all jokes. We loved it. No, I will say a 1.5.
That's exactly what I was going to do, because there were still parts that I genuinely liked. So I can't go all the way 1.
Yeah. But I would never watch this film again.
No. 1.5.
Yeah. But,
does that make it our lowest rated movie?
No, I think Axe Giant was 1.5 too.
Axe Giant was so much better. I want to like retroactively up my Axe Giant score based on this movie.
Yeah, and something tells me we're going to hit a lot lower point than this.
Probably.
But all right, well, unless you have anything else to add, I think I'm good.
No.
All right. Well, make sure and subscribe.
No. I do have something else to add.
Okay.
Like a blatant disregard for Line of Fire. Okay. Like there was a part where they were fighting in a tavern, right? And one of the guys was like a sharpshooter sniper rifle guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 things. Number 1, sniper rifles don't work in close quarters when you're looking through a scope like that. Okay, when you're seriously shooting a person 5 feet away from you with a sniper rifle. But also in that scene and others, like he shot like a zombie headshot while like the zombie is right up in the other person's face.
Yeah.
And there was another part where somebody was like on the ground being attacked by a zombie, and one of the other characters came up. See, they're all interchangeable. I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah.
But the other person came up with like a 44 mag revolver, put it right up to the zombie's head and fired, and then the guy was fine. You know, it's like that would have gone through both of them.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. It was just bad. Okay, I think I'm done.
Yeah. I'm totally done. Like this episode.
Like, no, I think, yeah, we're done with the podcast.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, follow the B&E master feed to check out other fine podcasts on our podcast network, such as Longbox Small Talk, The Adventures of Toxic City, if it ever comes back, our brand new network podcast, Scary as Shit,
and 2 versus 3,
and 2 versus 3, and
hopefully some others on the way.
Yeah, we should know mid this month whether or not there's another podcast coming our way. So anyway, yeah, the best way to keep in touch, I think we have releases on most of the weekdays. Is that?
Yep.
And so
yeah, well, if Toxic City ever comes back, then we're gonna have there's a new show Monday through Friday.
Yeah, so the best way to do this and listen to everything is to just subscribe to the B&E master feed, and that's about it. Also, I think there's a few more days on the 15% off sale for our shirts, right?
By the time this lands on iTunes, it'll be over. But if you're listening to it live, then yeah.
So yeah, Rodney, buy a shirt. But yeah, so check out bndepod.com/shop there's a lot of new shirts that Brian put up there this week that are like some retro horror shirts, and they're really, really cool. So
thanks.
Anyway, but with that, I guess we're gonna
check us out on Twitter at BeaniePod, Facebook also at BeaniePod. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.